Hey guys, I'm Sage Valentine and I'm back to review another episode of CBS's Big Brother Season 18, episode number 21. So let's just get down to it. I'm so proud of Davon. I know that a number of you are sad that she was evicted. I know that quite a few people have said they are not watching the show, but I promise you I will continue to review. I will become objective once again, and I'm going to tell it like it is, as I've been doing for the past few reviews that I've been doing. So, pretty much Davon has no clue why she's on the block, but she realizes something is up when Paulie's sitting up there talking to Bridget. So, Davon goes to Paul. Paul starts talking about all this whole, like, you know, I'm doing everything in an order. And Davon's like, well, where do I fall in this order? Paul is probably the worst liar. Now, Paul claims that Bridget is the target, but Davon knows better than that. Paul tells us he wants Bridget to go, but if he wanted Bridget to go, he would have had it set up so that Bridget could go. He never would have put Paulie on the block. He would have put Bridget up next to, say, who could he have put up? Like Bridget up next to, say, Michelle or something like that. And then would have made sure that one of his boys won the veto and made sure that Bridget went out. You guys have to understand, those of you that don't watch the feeds, that Paul is not an innocent bystander. He knew exactly what was going on. And as you can see, feed watchers, Paulie is getting the nice guy edit. So Paulie's looking like the good guy. But really, Paulie, as you saw in this episode and in the episodes that preceded this, that Paulie orchestrated this entire thing. So as I said before, Paulie is running these HOHs, and these house guests don't know what is going on, and he is manipulating each and every person in that house. And the best scenario would be for somebody to backdoor Paulie, but I don't see that happening because they can't even see that he's a threat at all. How many people are tired of hearing people on Big Brother say, I don't want to get blood on their hands? Me. Maybe because I remember the days of Evil Dick, Jason Hardy, Dan Giesling, who else? Will and Mike Boogie, Chicken George's days. Like, those were days when people actually, like, came into the game and played the game and played it hard. That's why when people were saying on social media that Day was playing this game too hard and too fast, people in previous seasons did that. I still to this day don't understand why that was such a problem. I feel like people were intimidated by the fact that Davon was a smart player, an intuitive player, and very, very perceptive. She was no threat in that game to anybody. The biggest threat in the game is Paulie. Now, was she going to get out Nicole? Yeah. And Nicole seems happy that Davon was voted out. But what Nicole does not know is that Paulie and Corey talked about cutting off their showmancies, meaning Zakiya and Nicole. Now, Nicole probably thinks she's safe at this point because she's got the boys to buffer her in. But eventually, if the guys are able to kick out Natalie, Michelle, Zakiya, she's the last chick left in. Unless, of course, she can win HOH. She might win HOH this week, and if she does, it's going to be a very interesting HOH, but I would rather have somebody like Zakiya or Michelle or Natalie win that. So Day decided to do some digging. She realized that she needed 5 votes to stay in the house. Now, she obviously knew she had Zakiya and Michelle, but who else did she have? She didn't have Nicole because obviously Nicole wanted her out. The other boys definitely were suspect. But she thought that she could trust James. But I'm trying to remember when she said it. I'm trying to remember if it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. But one of those days, Davon said on the feeds that she knew that James would more than likely go with the house. But I think it surprised me that Natalie was still iffy about keeping Davon. It really did. Like, she had her reservations about Bridget, but in the end, it appeared that she still wanted to keep her word that she would never vote out a spy girl. Unfortunately, that spy girl will vote her out without a second thought. But poor Natalie doesn't know this. So James lied to Dave's face and basically said that he would save her. He wasn't. The sad part is that Natalie doesn't realize that she can't really trust James anymore because James told on her. And James knows that Natalie is a target. And honestly, once again, James will go with the house because he's now a part of a new alliance that popped up. I figured Big Brother would kind of squeeze in a segment to let people know the name of the alliance, but if memory serves, they're called the executors or the executives or something like that. So I'll see how it plays out with James, but honestly, James did not disappoint me because James is being the James he was in season 17. Now, James doesn't want Davon to go without any votes. So he says that he will essentially vote for her to stay so that she'll have one vote. So clearly Davon was liked in the house, which raises this question as to why they voted her out if honestly her social game in their eyes wasn't that great. And in their eyes, she couldn't win a competition, although she was getting close. She was almost there, and I do believe that she would have been golden in tonight's HOH competition, but unfortunately I digress. So the guys ask James who he would put up for a double eviction, and he says Bronte. I was about to say Bronte. Bridget and Victor. So that put a big target on his back. And some of you guys will probably say, well, how would that put a target on his back? It puts a target on his back because Victor is a big part of that core alliance within the executor, or the executives, exec something alliance that has blossomed. James is at the bottom rung, so the guys are going to be looking at him with a side eye for the next week. So he could be targeted if he doesn't win HOH. Now, so the best part of that powwow in that little room, that including James, I think Victor was in the room, and I know Paul was in the room, and again, I can't remember who else was in the room because I was so blown away at the fact that Davon came in the room at the right time, right in the middle of the conversation, and everybody got quiet, and she asked them, okay, well, who is everyone going to vote for the double eviction? Because obviously she thought she was saying. Here comes James with his big mouth. James told her, oh yeah, Bridget and Victor are targets. Everybody's looking at him like, what? Davon's like, wait a minute, didn't they tell me that I was a pawn? Like, hold up. I swear, James is a mess in this game. So later, Davon talks to James, and she talks to Natalie, and she says, you know, because this week coming up is a double eviction, people are freaking out, information is going to start coming out, and she needs James and Natalie to have her back. But I think the best part of that conversation had to be the fact that Davon picked up on the voting situation on the other side. She assumed that James and Natalie had her back, but they didn't. But still, that was crazy. So James lies to Davon and says he has her back, but he gets caught because he's another bad liar. And Davon said that if he votes her out, it would hurt her feelings really bad. And it did seem like her feelings were hurt, but she did kiss him goodbye, so I guess there's no hard feelings between the two of them. James, at that point, has no idea what he's going to do as far as the votes. He knows that Day trusts him. He thought that he could save her. That's what was said on the show. But in actuality, he refused to make a move because he was afraid of upsetting the boys. But the boys won't be afraid to vote him out. And like I said, James put a big target on his back by saying that he would nominate Bridget and Victor for double eviction. So we made it to a segment all about Paul's family. We learned that Paul's a mama's boy, the life of the family. He lives at home. He's Russian, Lebanese, and Armenian. He's an only child. He's straightforward and blunt. His friend is jealous of the PP bromance. PP stands for Paul and Paul bromance that's happening in the house. And his family and friends think that PP has a great physical and social game. They think, the family and friends think, that Paul could win. So unfortunately, Davon was the evicted house guest of this week. She received 6 votes. Paulie, Nicole, Victor, Corey, James, and Natalie gave her those votes and sent her, unfortunately, packing. Zakiya and Michelle stuck to their word and voted out Bridget. As Davon left, she hugged Zakiya tight. And some of you guys are probably wondering why, because Day and Zakiya were like this in the house. And last night, Davon looked out for Zakiya because Zakiya got pissy drunk after Big Brother threw this mini party for the house guests, because they made it to the halfway point pretty much. And I don't know what Zakiya drank, but the next thing you know, she was all over Paulie, grinding on him. And at one point, she had on this like top where her bottom was out, and nobody was telling her that her bottom was out. And Davon walked through the room and she told her, and then at another point she came through the room and told Zakiya to put her pants on. I mean, there was a lot of like debauchery happening in that room. Davon wasn't in the room. Like, Nicole and Corey were all over each other. Zakiya was grinding on Paulie, and Paulie was acting like he was uninterested. But I did see on the feeds where he was smiling the entire time through the, what do they call it? Not the infrared light that looks like it's green, where you can kind of see people in the Big Brother house in a dark room. That whole situation was really uncomfortable, and I'm so glad that Davon was there for Z, and that's why Z was really upset when Davon left, because clearly Davon was the only one that really has Zakiya's back. I mean, Zakiya can trust Michelle, but then now that Davon's gone, like, will Michelle and Zakiya still remain like this? Will they part? Like, Zakiya is highly upset. So Davon spoke to Julie, and she told Julie that she knew that she was going. She doesn't feel betrayed. She feels confirmed, because everything that she was thinking was obviously the truth, because she walked out of the house, what was it, an hour ago. Day decided to turn on Frank when he outed the 8. And a lot of people talked about that situation where Davon was quote-unquote laughing at Tiffany. But again, those that don't watch the feeds don't know that Tiffany had quite a few episodes on the feeds, and that's why a lot of people kind of sort of stayed away from her. And I still like Tiffany, and I'm still upset that Tiffany aligned herself with Frank. I'm still upset about that. Davon revealed that she feels like Nicole's going to go far in the game, but she said that James is in trouble. He sure is if he doesn't win HOH, and he will definitely be in trouble if Natalie doesn't win HOH. Nicole, in her goodbye message, said that Day was a threat to her game and tried to be all nice and sweet and said that she's going to miss her, blah, blah, blah. Nicole's not going to miss Davon. Nicole was laughing at the thought of Davon leaving the house and was saying a lot of nasty things about Davon. So Z said in her goodbye message she didn't know where everything went wrong, and she was very emotional, and that made Davon cry because, like I said, Day and Z are like this, and I'm so happy that they bonded while in the Big Brother house. James said that he was sorry for voting Davon out. He said that certain people wanted her out. In other words, he basically revealed that he was scared to keep Davon in the house because then he would be targeted. But again, James is going to be targeted regardless of what he does. So, I mean, it is what it is. And in Paul's goodbye message, he said that he didn't know what happened. Yes, he did. He knew everything, every single thing, and just went along with it. So Davon is now in the jury. Something that Frank warned the house guests, particularly Paulie, about. And don't forget, there is a second buyback. I'm looking forward to that competition. And currently, right now, the house guests are competing in the harsh hashtags HOH competition. So it's anybody's win at this point. Well, that's about it, guys. You all take care. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you thought about this episode, the season so far, who you think is going to win HOH this week and during the double eviction, who will be nominated, and what 2 people do you want to see leave the house, and who do you think will win? Leave me some comments, guys. I love you all. Take care until Sunday. Well, Monday. You know the drill. Bye, guys. Bye.